discovered that in Ghana, we have significant resources. And these resources from 2015 onwards have really allowed us to expand our horizons to be able to really serve the market better. In that process, we have become ISO 9001 certified for training and coaching. We have also now become a TVET certified educational institution. And the drive for really moving closer to providing the skills that are needed by our population is one that has taken us to the partnership with Stabroek Consulting. When we were first introduced to the CIPS program, we immediately saw the connection between what this program can do for Guyana and the needs of the industry, in particular, the improving the expanding oil and gas industry, because now it is turning into an industry. We're no longer just thinking about drilling, exploration, and production offshore. We're now also talking about bringing the gas onshore and all those developments that are going to come along with it. Action Invest Caribbean also has a partnership with NSB Omega, a global company that provides technical staffing and recruiting for many of the operators around the world, including the main operator here in Guyana. So we know that the demand for persons who have training in procurement, in supply, in logistics, inventory management, warehouse management continues to grow. And we are finding it very difficult to find persons with the right qualifications that the industry requires. So it was a very easy decision to collaborate with Stabroek Consulting. I myself have known Chris for a couple of years, and I know the quality of work that he is known for in Guyana. I've met the rest of the team as well, and I'm really impressed by the depth and the passion for this particular subject. And that has allowed us at Action Invest to say, well, with such partners on board and such a strong program that is in demand by the industry, and not just in oil and gas, because everybody who indirectly works in that industry also needs to step up their game. They also need to be able to manage their supply chains effectively and efficiently. And the induced effect that is taking place, the government who is now embarking on massive projects, all these massive projects also require very efficient supply chain management, or else we, the taxpayers in our own country, are going to face significant delays, significant cost overruns that could have all been avoided if people in our population take up the opportunity, especially if this is an alignment with their career goals, to get qualified in a field that allows you to perform at your best. So, Keon, I would like to again thank the team for putting together this collaboration, for all the work that has gone into it. I know we have our guest speaker from CIPS here, Ms. Mandy Wong. You really appreciate your time to be able to address the audience here today so that they can have a really good understanding of what we are providing to the Guyanese market. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Durga, for your remarks and noting the advent of improvements and growth that Guyana is expected to experience in the upcoming years. We are going to be moving along swiftly with our program, and we will now be hearing from the Director of Stabroek Consulting, Mr. Chris Appana. Chris has over 20 successful years experience as a finance and accounting executive in various sectors of Guyana, ranging from the banking, auditing, logging, marine transport, and sugar industries. Chris is a chartered accountant since 1999 and is a fellow of the Association of Chartered Accountants, ACCA, and he also holds an executive diploma in business management along with an MBA from the University of the West Indies. He's also held many executive positions, being the finance controller with the Guyana Sugar Corporation. He would have worked along with the Caribbean Resources Limited and the former Chief Financial Officer / Company Secretary of the Ansel McCall Trading Limited, a position that he's held for 10 years before leaving to become an advisor and consultant. Please welcome Chris as he shares a bit more about Stabroek Consulting Inc.
Thank you very much, Keon. I think you've spoken enough on me, so I wouldn't say anything much more on myself. I see you've been briefed very much well. And thank you, Dr. Durga, for the initial comments. I think that sets up what we are going to discuss and how we align. And we did not compare notes, but basically the objectives of both companies are aligned in terms of when we set up Stabroek Consulting, we were looking at improving the human capital in Guyana. And that was going to be done through training and education. And this is our first step that we looked at, and we really put our energy. So 3 years ago, when we had this idea, we now focus all of our energies in order to get CIPS off the ground, because we realize the urgent need in order to get this qualification into Guyana and to educate persons and for companies to benefit from this qualification. Because what CIPS, what this science brings, this education brings, is for companies to benefit cost-wise and for employees to even earn more. Because of with this here now, they can use their knowledge in order to make better decisions and improve. Stabroek Consulting has a wonderful set of people that makes this stick. There is Larry, who is my fellow shareholder, director in the business. The two of us went into this business and because of education and his passion for education. I myself has been in corporate for many, many years, and Larry himself, but he is also a lecturer. And Larry and myself came together. Larry, quite fortunately or unfortunately, was my supervisor, practicum supervisor, and that is how we birthed this business. Through their connections and his connections, we were able to get in contact with a lot more professionals and educators and lecturers and specialists within the industry. And we were able to leverage in order to provide CIPS and provide CIPS with industry experience and not just educational experience. So on our team, we have Jaidat, who is smartly dressed there. And Jaidat is actually in charge of everything for us in terms from administration right down to quality. And I say down to quality because quality is up to one of the most things that we want to press in our delivery and our business. So we see that very high in our agenda, and that is why we brought in Jaidat at a very early stage to ensure that we deliver that quality. Alongside Jaidat, there is Amrita. Amrita has been doing a phenomenal job on our marketing. This is our first webinar, and fantastic job in terms of putting it together to her and the team and to marketing it. In addition, we have Trina, who's our lecturer and who's also on our staff. And Trina has a wide industry experience with multinationals and in addition to completing CIPS in her studies. We have Kenifa, who is doing a fantastic job in the admin. And you can call Kenifa at any time and get any information at the contact numbers that we have. I don't think I've left out anybody, but that is our team. And this afternoon, I want to thank you for joining us and hope you embark on this wonderful journey with us in order for us to lift Guyana to a next level through education and training. Thank you.
Thank you very much for those words, Chris. And of course, your parting statement, which indicates that we need to live Guyana through education and training. And definitely that aligns really well with what Stabroek Consulting brings, what CIP brings, and also what Action Invest brings to the table. So this is almost like a marriage that was made or meant to be. We say made in heaven. Definitely this is one of those concepts because it really aligns well with what you're working to do and then also what Action Invest is doing and where Guyana needs to be when it comes to human resource development. So I'm really, really looking forward to hearing from Trina, who's going to be sharing with us not only as a faculty head, but also her experience as a student going through this particular program. So Trina Amar Singh, she is an internationally certified supply chain professional with the MCIPS charter designation, and she holds a degree in business management with a minor in accounting. Her success has been in contract management, commercial risk management, and logistics that she would have gained through various supply chain and procurement roles. And it spans the energy, manufacturing, construction, education industries. So I do know that Trina is going to be sharing her wealth of knowledge with us this afternoon as she presents. Please welcome Ms. Trina Amar Singh as she presents to us on the CIPS qualification.
Thank you very much, Kian. Thank you. Thank you everyone who's taken the time to join our call this afternoon. My role here today will certainly not be in the capacity of facilitator or lecturer, but it's more to share my journey as to how CIPS opened the doors for me. My journey with CIPS started around the year 2005, thereabout. At that time, I was convinced I knew a lot about procurement in those days by being involved in purchasing construction type materials. When I did discover CIPS in Trinidad, I decided I had already gotten my first degree in business management and was taking the decision at the time, what should I specialize in? Given my little experience at that time in procurement and buying materials and so on, it felt exciting, the negotiation, getting discounts, and you're all hyped up and you're thinking, wow, this is it for me. So I embarked upon CIPS at the time. Supply chain in those days in Trinidad, at least in this part of the world, was not a real profession. It wasn't a profession on the org chart of many organizations. So lucky for me, like where probably Guyana is right now, it's starting to bud into a really new role, a role that can open a lot of doors and a role that is, cemented in the organizational structure. What I can say is the journey was a lot of fun. I benefited most from the classroom discussions. Those discussions not only limit you to your experience that you're gaining on your job, but it also gives you the ability to develop what I call your critical thinking and problem solving muscle, where other people will bring their problems into the room and you use what you've learned and you lean on your lecturer at the time to help solve them. Those little discussions I can tell you has played a very important part in my career since then, over the 19 years. I would still refer to some of those discussions in some of my strategy thinking and implementation and development. I have also gained through that the capacity not only to problem solve, but to develop procurement processes, policies, procedures. I have worked auditing supply chain processes. So it's such a wide opportunity. It's not about becoming a buyer or only a supply chain manager. Just this morning, I was reading an article that was kind of directing people getting their degrees into specializing in supply chain now, as opposed to finance or the regular business management. And I'll tell you why. With the advent of COVID in the last 2 years, we have faced empty shelves. We have faced the traffic jam in the Suez Canal. We would have remembered that. We have faced increased prices in food. We have seen manufacturing shut down. And it's all because our people in supply chain and logistics probably wasn't expecting what was coming, and we weren't prepared to deal with it and help the organizations prepare. And it is my own opinion, as well as most of the Harvard Business Reviews, and if you start looking and reading, and it's a fantastic reading that you will get as well from CIPS and their magazines, which I still keep very much in my reading tools, where you will see supply chain now has become the Achilles heels of an organization. Because if you can't have the products on the shelves, you can't sell it. You can't sell it, you can't earn a profit. And thereby you can't get paid. And so either a country may starve, or you may have prices, that are increased to such a level that people won't be able to, to buy. So it's not only about developing yourself in becoming a buyer or a procurement specialist. It's about learning in the future, at least in the near future, to deal with risk, to prepare, to understand just in time is not going to work anymore for us, to understand other inventory type strategies, probably come up with new ones. It's an exciting time for the profession. I am certainly excited. I feel as if it has been given a renewed life, despite COVID and all the dark clouds around it. But I see procurement as really kicking off, supply chain is kicking off in the next 5 to 10 years. And I think it's a great opportunity, and it's really right for Guyana to take advantage of it. And this is not staying, so focused on the economy and the energy sector that's growing. That's just one small part. It's going to equip you with opening up doors that are endless. So I thank Keon for the little time to make that introduction. And I really hope to see, some of you and your staff maybe in some of my classes. Good afternoon, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Trina, for sharing your journey as a student. And as I paid keen attention to what you were saying, it's really making that decision very early on, not just to get into what has been done before, which means the traditional professional qualifications as a finance or business, not saying that anything is wrong with it, but really looking for the opportunities that may arise, and especially those that can arise from the procurement aspect when it comes to qualifying yourself. And like you mentioned, Trinidad at that time would have been in a very similar position to where Guyana is now. And for the persons, on the call is really to start thinking about it. Where do you want to go? Where do you see yourself evolving and being able to benefit from our rising economy? And becoming CIPS qualified definitely seems to be that path. I love that you said it brought a renewed life to the profession. I think those words alone added a lot of impetus to the content that you were sharing, especially when it comes to understanding that procurement and logistics, definitely there's a career that can be gathered from this, definitely. All right, so I think trainer persons who are listening can really be inspired by your story, not only providing that story, but also some of the benefits of the program in terms of opening doors and career advancement. Thank you very much. So we're going to be hearing a bit more about CIPS and its international mark that it's making. And we're going to be hearing now from Ms. Mandy Wong. Ms. Mandy Wong joined CIPS in September 2020 and plays a very key role in the development of CIPS across the Americas. Mandy is based out of CIPS Americas headquarters in Chicago. And prior to joining CIPS, Mandy would have worked in association management, overseeing membership operations of associations in the lumber and pension industries. Her main role is to provide support to existing CIPS members, work strategically with volunteers to establish regional CIPS chapters, and build membership. She's also responsible for creating, engaging, and valuable events for procurement and supply chain professionals in the Western Hemisphere. So we're now going to be hearing from Mandy as she presents her remarks about CIPS. Mandy, welcome.
Hi, Keon. Thank you for the introduction, and thank you everyone for having me here today. I'm very proud to be part of CIPS, even though I've only been with the organization for just over a year now, since I joined just last September. But over the year, CIPS has grown tremendously since I've been with them, not even just in North America, but internationally as well. So just the basics about CIPS. So CIPS is based out of Stamford in UK, just outside of London, and our Americas headquarters, as Keon mentioned, is located in Chicago, where I am located also. So what CIPS does really is we set the global standard for procurement and supply management. We set the benchmark for what professionals should be achieving in their roles. And we have offices globally, so our global standard is used worldwide. In addition to our headquarters, our regional headquarters in the US and our global headquarters in the UK, we also have satellite offices in Ghana, South Africa, Istanbul, Dubai, Singapore, and Melbourne. We work with both public and private sector organizations, from raising their standards that they currently have to making sure that they're in compliance with different ethical principles, as well as improving delivery results that they're needing. We also offer a variety of levels of memberships that fits the different needs of individuals. So if you have, if you're going through the education training for the qualifications and you're working full time, and you only have a couple of hours to spare each week, you can go at your own pace. And if you're not ready to jump into the qualifications, most of you here are ready to jump into the qualifications, otherwise you wouldn't be joining us on this call. But we do have different levels of qualifications too, so that you can kind of determine where you feel most comfortable starting at and where you are aiming to go. And so one of the things that I was asked to talk about is some of the benefits to having CIPS kind of aid in developing economies. And I think Trina did a really good job providing her experience with that, because I think, from a CIPS corporate standpoint, I can't say something, but it makes the most sense, and it's more valuable when someone has gone through that experience and can share their thoughts and experience and feelings on how that has helped them and their colleagues and their local economy, right? But we have a lot of companies that we've worked with are really interested in just raising the overall quality of training and development for the individuals that they are bringing in. And CIPS is able to do that because we do have a wealth of quality knowledge that meet those needs. And one of the things that Trina mentioned is, I think she mentioned that, we have several different sectors that we're all kind of have our own individual focuses on, but CIPS really has a good wide reach across several different industries, from oil and gas to renewables to, a variety of different industries that you can find on our website. But I think the other piece that also really benefits developing economies is that sometimes it can feel like once you've gone through the program, you're on your own, but CIPS is always going to be here. Once you're a part of CIPS, there's always going to be resources available for you, regardless of if you've already completed your CIPS training and you just need a refresher on a topic that, you forgot something about. And so one of the pieces that has been really beneficial is that with the MCIPS qualifications that some of you may earn at the end of your learning journey, similar to what Trina did, she can apply that MCIPS qualification as an addition to her university accreditation. But in some cases, there are organizations that are recognizing the MCIPS as a standalone accreditation that is equivalent to a university degree. And so I think that's something that's very valuable to a lot of some of the developing economies that CIPS has influence and opportunities in helping. And for this year, we've had a very, as with everyone, CIPS has gone through a lot, but one of the things that we're very proud of producing this year so far is our salary survey guide. Because of our global reach, we are able to conduct a procurement salaries survey guide with data collected from internationally, especially in the regions that we have a large presence in. So specifically the UK, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, MENA, which is Middle East, North Africa, North America, and Sub-Saharan Africa. So for example, this year, our salary guide found that there was a growth in procurement salaries overall in North America by 4.6%. The study also revealed that in North America, 32% of employers are starting to request MSIPs or individuals who are studying towards MSIPs when they're recruiting new employees, which is 32%. You think, oh, wow, that's not too many, but compare that to Sub-Saharan Africa, where 79% of employers are requesting that their employees recruited have or in the process of earning their MSIPs. It kind of puts into perspective how valuable the MSIPs accreditation can be. And in that respect, it's 66% in the Middle East and North Africa for the requirement of the MSIPs. If you're looking for more data from the 2021 study, they can be found on the CIPS website. They have plenty more information beyond salaries and contains information on career growth, outlooks, and etc. And so I can share that link in the chat box shortly. Speaking of internationally, our international reach, because we are a global organization, our qualifications are recognized worldwide. So even if you've earned your MSIPs in the Americas, it would still be recognized in the other regions of the world. And for many of the regions, having the CIPS qualifications, especially the MSIPs, can lead to higher salaries. So it is 12% increase in Europe overall, 20% in New Zealand, 28% in Sub-Saharan Africa, 34% in South Africa, and 82% in MENA. And so this kind of relates back to how in certain regions, employers do favor applicants who hold CIPS qualifications. Now, some of the benefits of becoming a member once you've earned your CIPS qualifications, or just being a member as a student as you're going through the program, support for continuing professional development, networking opportunities, and the knowledge resources are the main three benefits that I share with anyone who's looking to learn more about what CIPS really offers. One of the knowledge resources that we have is the Supply Management Digital Publication, which gets updated by industry professionals daily, week to week. And the Knowledge Hub online that we have on the CIPS website also houses a variety of information and reference points for a variety of topics that is applicable to different regions. The benefit that I am most personally excited about always is the networking opportunities. As I mentioned earlier, CIPS is growing quickly in the Americas, and that is one of the reasons why I joined the CIPS team. We have a lot of great events and opportunities that are already in progress, and others that are in the development stages. And so in terms of what I do is helping the Americas. So one of the things that we've done already is start up a local chapter in New England, of the New England region of the US. And so through that chapter, just last week, we were able to host a golf scholarship event where we granted 4 college students in the US scholarships for their college tuition. And so, you know, there are opportunities like that you can give back. There are opportunities to join chapters. Trina and I have been on several calls together about the growth of the Caribbean region. And so For example, the Trinidad and Tobago chapter has recently expanded and is in the progress of kind of providing more resources and support to the overall Caribbean area. So the Trinidad and Tobago CIPS branch is now transforming into the Caribbean chapter for CIPS. And so through expansions like that, members and volunteers have the opportunity to meet other individuals from their local regions, as well as get involved and develop their leadership skills. And, beyond just the professional, they can say outside of their career role, they can say, I've spent time and energy in helping develop and help the industry in my region to help connect others as well. And so, with the networking opportunities, we're also growing in the New York area in the US, as well as developing a Canada chapter. And as I mentioned, we are growing kind of everywhere. So if you are ever interested in starting a chapter in Guyana, let me know, reach out to me, and I'm happy to work with you and our CIPS headquarters team to make sure that we can get a nice CIPS community set up for you. Everyone in your region. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mandy. That was definitely, some really, really good information pertaining to where CIPS is across the world. And it's really good to hear how widespread it is, from its main office in England to regional offices, and of course, satellite offices in countries like Guyana, South America, Istanbul, and the others that you mentioned. For the persons listening on the call, I'm seeing some interactions happening in the chat as well, some questions being asked and responses being given to them. That really touches on what are the opportunities, apart from the benefits that you listed, for persons who are going to become MCIPS qualified. So I know for sure that persons are listening, they're taking notes, because the interaction in the chat is really, really going on. At this particular time, we are going to be opening the room to questions of persons apart from in the chat. If you have any questions or comments that you would like to share, we want to do this in the most respectful and professional manner. So you can unmute and signal your intention, and you will be acknowledged so that you can ask your questions. And this will be for the benefit of everyone who is on the call. And of course, I have some questions as well that I am more than willing to ask. So we are going to be hearing from the room today. So the floor is now open for anyone, the virtual floor, for anyone who has any questions questions that they would like to ask the team. They are more than willing to answer it at this point in time. So let's go. If you'd like to raise your hand so that you can be acknowledged, that is also another approach. I am scanning the chat as we speak. All right, while some persons are building up the courage and the confidence to unmute and ask their question, I am going to get the ball rolling, because I really have some burning questions that I would love for the team to respond to. And any member of the team can determine who's going to take the reins to answer the question. And I'm going to start with my first question, and it's really pertaining to the energy sector. So to the team, with the advent of the new energy sector here in Guyana, how do you see the role of CIPS in our energy industry, if you can get a bit more specific, and being able to support these companies that are involved in this sector? So any member of the team can volunteer to take this on.
Trina, since you were in that sector, you can give us your experience.
So, Kian, can you just repeat the question one more time? The internet kind of just dipped there.
Sure, Trina, not a problem. So I know you did touch on it a bit, but if you can dive into it a bit more. So with our new energy sector here in Guyana, how do you really see the role of CIPS within this particular industry and being able to support the companies or the organizations within that industry with that hope to get them involved, to get involved with those companies?
Okay, so for starters, like Mandy was saying before, most of the roles I'm sure that's going to be advertised, especially with multinationals now playing in that space. And there are a lot of relocation of large energy companies, for example, Schlumberger is based, Halliburton, Exxon is there. We've seen, we're seeing a lot of companies migrating into the space now and making it one of the new energy hubs in the Caribbean. So we are going to see the request for CIPS, which is an international requirement, as we all are aware, the most recognized international requirement for hiring procurement and supply chain persons. So if you want to be able to work in that field, like myself, when I first started my career, there are a lot of us that may have been doing supply chain and procurement type activities on our day-to-day jobs, but what we don't have is the actual certification. And one may think, as I started off by saying that, you're involved in it and you think you're well on your way to being a professional, but only when you go through the CIPS program, you realize how much more there is to learn. So one is ensuring that you're qualified. Like I say, I don't believe in luck, it's opportunity, and you have to be prepared for when the opportunity arises. So from your own personal career development, it's up to each individual to decide and make that leap and that decision, so that when the jobs open up, you have the qualification, you have, if you're already in the field, you have a head start because you have the practice while you study, which is going to make it a whole lot easier for you. And you'll be able to compete without having the certification and the qualification. You won't be able to play in that space. So, it's self-development and taking ownership of that.
Thank you very much, Trina. And anybody else have any questions coming online? Let me just make sure that I check the chat.
I have one.
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, I came in a bit late, so I'm just curious about the duration of the course and the cost attached to it. Thank you.
Sure.
Jai, go ahead.
Hi, yes, Mr. Ali. So we have different levels, and we will have to decide based on your experience in the field, as well as the level of education, which level you're coming at. So that we offer level 2, 3, and 4, which are the 3 entry levels. The highest level that you can enter at is level 4, but that would require that you have some academic background as well as some experience working in the field. The prices that we charge, again, are really based on the number of credits in each course. So for example, at the level 2, we are charging 39,000 Guyanese dollars for the course. The first course is expected, which is level 2. That is expected to take a maximum of 9 months to complete, really depending on whether you wish to complete it earlier, or reinvest could be made for that. But it's really 3 terms, and 1 course in the first term, then 2 courses followed by 2 courses again in the third term. So we're looking at 3 terms at about 3 months each. And in those 3 months, what it includes tuition, preparations for exams, and as a value added, one of the things that we didn't mention, but now is a good opportunity to mention it. While I know a lot of the other institutions and other types of programs do charge for exam preparations, that is a value added that we are giving. So we want to ensure that once you engage in this program, that there's a level of success, and that at the end of it, you come out passing the examination so that it makes you more marketable. So we are looking at $39,000 per course. And in the first level, which is level 2, There are 5 courses spread over 3 terms. I hope that answers the question, Mr. Ali.
Yeah, thank you.
And thank you very much for that question, Ms. Ali. I'm seeing in the chat as well from Jerry is asking if there are any scholarships available. So thank you for responding, Chris, indicating that it can be considered. Any other question coming from our audience today?
Patrick has his hands up.
Hi, yes, I do have one question. I see you mentioned the beginning levels of 2, 3, and 4. Will Stabroek be offering the levels 5 and 6 at any point in time? Considering I'm looking to start this with you guys probably in January, and coming with at least 10 years of experience in procurement and just having completed my EMBA at UE. This is basically my specialization field that I would then fall into do complete levels 5 and 6 and then do the specialized diploma.
Yes, we are planning to, Patrick, thanks for the question. Why we didn't offer 5 and 6 as yet is because we realized that there were not many people in Guyana that will reach those levels, and we need to take a cohort through level 4 before we started the level 5. So this is why it's not offered at the moment. So once we get through that 9 months and we have that cohort that completes the level 4, we'll be able to do 5 and 6 because the cohorts will roll forward.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much for those responses and the questions. Patrick, I think we have another question that is coming in. I got one directly that is asking, what are the requirements for the course? So that was all the person asked. So I'm not specific, it's going to be to level 2, but maybe you can share something around what would be some of the requirements for someone who would like to do this particular program.
Jai?
Okay, sure, Chris. The level 2 will be the first level, so it doesn't require any background experience or qualification in the field. So that, for example, if someone comes out of secondary school, if someone wants to leave their current industry and enter supply chain, then that level will obviously be the best fit. For the level 3, it does require some level of work experience. And when you look at the requirements, and even on the CIPS website, you will see some of those things that the qualifications and the entry levels are really based on how much experience you have in the field and your level of education. So someone who may have advanced level, whether it be at Cambridge or CXC, that may put you on, you may have some work experience, that will put you at level 3. Level 4 is really the highest level you can enter. And that ties in the question that Patrick has asked, that regardless of the experience that you may have, without the level 4, you cannot enter level 5 and 6. And that is why we have done level 2, 3, and 4 to cover the whole entry level. And based on where you are in terms of the experience and in terms of the education, that will determine the point at which you enter. So it is a little difficult to just sit here and say that, to just give an answer like that. But what I can say for certainty, if you don't have the experience in procurement, you're new to the field, then definitely you're going to enter at level 2. Even if you may have a degree, but you may not have the experience, while you may make a case to enter level 2, it may be difficult because some of the foundation work and understanding of the field and the frameworks and all of those things may not be there. What we're encouraging though is that once you go to the website and you fill out the registration form, we'll have a meeting with all our interested students. And based on that meeting, and when we do our own assessment, we'll of course do some consultation maybe with members of CIPS and amongst ourselves and the academic team. And in so doing, we will decide based on your interests and your qualification, where you fit and what is going to be the best level for you to enter.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that response. I'm seeing another question that is coming in. So the question that they're asking, well, there are 2 questions that I'm seeing on the board. One, someone is asking, what is the average monthly salary for someone more likely between levels 2 to 4, which means if they have those qualifications, what is the expected average monthly salary? I'm not sure if you guys may be able to answer that question for them. And then the second question comes out would be, does each level cost 20, well, this would have been 39,000, just to correct that, 39,000 for each of the 9 months, or is the money for just per semester? And if one starts level 4, what is the duration? So who's going to take the first question? What is the average monthly salary for someone who may have the level 2 to 4 qualifications?
So I'll do the first one, Keon, based on, we haven't found a CIPS professional in Guyana. So maybe somebody here knows somebody, but I think I've seen in the jobs that are advertising for procurement personnel and even assistants, they're asking for MBAs. And that tells you the level or the level of salary or the level of professional that they're looking for. And an MBA, the pay would be anywhere between probably from $500,000 to probably $1 million.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Chris. And
Jai, if you can address the other questions.
Correct.
Yes, so again, that's a question on the fees, right? So it is $39,000 per course. And as I mentioned in the first level, there are 5 courses. I believe in the second level, they are the same thing. The only thing that is going to vary in the third level, so that for level 1, for level 2 and 3, it is 39,000 Guyanese for each of the courses. There are 5 courses each. For the level 4,
Sorry, 6 in level 5, level 3.
Level 3, sorry. So that is 6 courses. But for the level 4, there are 8 courses. And the 6 credit courses are going to be 39,000 Guyanese dollars also. However, the first course and the last course in level 4 are actually 12 credit courses. And for those the fee is going to be, I believe, it is going to be less than double the amount for double the amount of credit. I can't tell you the exact amount, but once you go to the website and there's the registration, our program administrator, Kanifa, is going to reach out to you. We have all of the fees stated, so you're going to get that fee sheet, as well as you're going to see every trimester and the courses that are offered for each trimester, so that the full details will be provided to you once you reach out to us. I don't want to give you figures here, and they are inaccurate, but what I can tell you is that it is 39,000 for each 3 or 6 credit course, but for level 4, for the first course and the last out of the 8, so that's 2 out of 8, the fees are going to be higher, simply because those are 12 credit courses, as well as the nature of the assessment is going to be different. While you have the multiple choice type questions for the 3 and 6 credit, for the 12 credit courses, those are really essay type exams, so that you will notice a difference for those.
Thank you. Thank you very much for responding to that particular question and bringing the clarity on the investment for the qualifications, and that is 39,000 Ghana dollars per course for each of the courses you have to do for each level. During the interest of time, we're going to take one more question that I saw just came in the chat. And while that is happening, I would encourage the participants on the call. We would love to hear your feedback this afternoon. We have a link to an evaluation form. If you can click on that link and oblige us by filling out that form, we really, really appreciate it. And the final question that we're going to take for today comes from Michael, and he is asking, is there a scheduled commencement date for the courses here in Guyana? And he's asking, how does payment for the courses go? And could it be paid by module, or it needs to be paid for the entire semester? All right, I'm seeing Chris is giving some responses. So Chris, you just want
Yes, we expect to start in
with
October.
Yeah.
Thanks, Kian. Sorry. We expect to start in October, and the fees will be paid per subject that you're doing, per course that you're doing. So if you opt to do 1, you pay for that 1. If you opt to do 2, you pay for the 2. We are willing to offer also, you pay by the month. So the course will run over 3 months. So you will offer a payment plan for each month. So that's an option too. We know that, finding the money up front can be difficult sometimes. So we're willing to work with that option too and offer that option.
Thank you. This is definitely making the CIPS qualification really, really affordable, and to meet the investment threshold of the persons who are willing to get a qualification. I don't think you can get it better than that, where you're allowed to pay per course. In addition, you have a monthly payment plan. So I really don't see any speed humps with the persons who may want to get this qualification, taking the steps necessary to get that done. So kindly fill out our evaluation forms. And of course, for those persons who like to get registered, you can always reach out to Kenifa. You will see some registration information in just a few minutes. And as we go today, I would just like to share a quick video with you so that you can just have a bit more information as it pertains to CIPS. So there you go. Thank you guys very much for joining us during your lunch hour for this webinar, as we learned a bit more about the CIPS qualification. And of course, for those persons who are looking to get registered for the program, by filling out the evaluation forms, you'll have your information that we can reach out to you, or you can call 223-5537. And Kenneth will be more than happy to provide you with information on how you can get registered. I would like to say a special thank you to all of our speakers today, Dr. Vishnu Durga, Chris Apana, we have Trina, we had Ms. Mandy Wong, we had Ms. Maharaj presenting, answering questions as well. It has been an absolute pleasure hearing from you guys, and of course, educating me on CIPS and the benefits of the qualification, especially with our rising industry. On that note, I would like to wish you a pleasant good afternoon, and do enjoy the rest of your day. Continue to be safe, and of course, protect yourself against the novel coronavirus. Have a good one, guys.
Thank you.